So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are ready for the second panel of GEFCON 2022. Please take your seats as we are going to be starting our panel shortly. Thank you very much. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start with the second panel of the day here at GEFCON 2022 very shortly. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mustafa Özben. So, LJ Rich has introduced me as the one and only. Well, actually, that's a little bit true because I'm the one and only Turkish sports announcer ever in the history of Olympic and Paralympic Games. So I've served at London 2012, Rio 2016, and Tokyo 2020. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our panelists. First of all, please give a big hand for our panelists as they have just taken their seats. So, let me also take my seat here, and I'm going to be introducing them one by one right now. So, to my very right and to your left, so the CEO of HEMO, the experience design company, Egemen Özcan. Global Esports Federation Special Advisor, Simulation Games, Steffi Bau. The Vice President of Global Esports Federation, the CEO of British Esports Federation, Chester King. Board member of Global Esports Federation and Vice President of Ireland Esports, Adrian Lismore.
Thank you.
And the CEO of BtcTurk, Özgür Güneri. So welcome, it's a great pleasure and honor to have you here. So we are going to be paying a special focus on Turkey and the region when it comes to the growth and development of esports. So Chester, I would like to start off with you. So please tell us a little bit more about yourself first for our audience, and then I'm going to be directing your question for our panel.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I've been involved in sports for about 30 years, and I got involved in esports 7 years ago, where I approached the British government to say we needed to have a national federation because I was a bit upset there weren't enough British players who were global champions. And I followed the kind of my journey in esports through my son, who's now 22, he was born in 2000, and I just saw what an incredible activity it was, how inclusive it was. And during my journey over the last 7 years, running the National Federation, but we also set up the UK's Call of Duty franchise called the London Royal Ravens, and we have an esports team with Williams Formula One, and I'm now a trade advisor to the British government around esports education. So kind of very in the coalface, UK focused, and obviously we ran the Commonwealth Esports Championships last summer.
Yes, earlier this year, you also held the Commonwealth Esports Championships in Birmingham. What a great event. Well done. Congratulations. Yeah. And so I would just like to find out, how would you like to compare, and what are the findings that you have had after organizing such an event, and what are the things that you like to say unique to Turkey and the region when it comes to holding such international esports events and competitions?
Yeah, so obviously for this panel, what I talked about this morning actually was actually the incredible impact of hosting these type of events. So the legacy of these type of events is really important, and how we can capitalize on that. So what we've seen in the UK is more engagement by our government, more engagement from brands, more acceptance from parents, more acceptance from teachers. So we have a high school qualification which you can study in esports, which Pearson, which is an education provider, has. We've got over 4,000 people studying it. And also the incredible thing of which we talked about on the people talked about on the stage was playing for your country, winning medals for your country. It's just incredibly powerful. So for me, and for what's going to happen in Istanbul, is hopefully you're going to have the same legacy. And we're here to help. And Adrian actually in the board meeting this morning talked about we should be kind of setting up a kind of a group to help with legacy. And I think once the dust has settled here, and everyone realizes what a great capital this is. It's my first time here, which is a bit embarrassing to say it's my first time here, but I think you've got such an opportunity to now expand. And actually, I know this has been a huge effort by everyone, but actually the big work is actually from next week or the beginning in January is actually capitalizing on it, on the legacy.
So I would just like to elaborate on this concept of legacy a little bit more. So we're going to have three exciting days here in Istanbul. So, but what are we going to learn from this, and how are we going to reflect it to the future events?
Yeah. So from the UK point of view, it was about the passion that you're going to see on stage and the emotions. And if you ignore what the athletes are actually competing, they're playing a sport, right? So we can have the argument about is it sport, isn't it sport? But so for us in the UK, what the outcome for us was that we had big brands like Dell and Intel going, this was amazing. How can we now do annual events in the UK? So during the Commonwealth Games, we're not Britain, we're England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And we have, in rugby, we compete as home nations. It's called home nations. So what's happened for us is they want to have that every year. So again, in this region, you might have cities playing against each other in Turkey. You might invite your friends or family from around the region. I don't know who you'd want to invite, but I think the whole point of choosing and selecting your national heroes that then compete to you is very important. So part for us of legacy was not only a huge awareness of esports, but also the fact that people now, it'll become a common thing to have national and localized tournaments.
So as we are trying to build that legacy, as you have just mentioned, the sustainability is also a critical factor, and the brands, the companies definitely want to be a part of something that people really love. So I'm sure BtcTurk, Mr. Özgür, will have a lot to say when it's going to be his turn about playing a role for the growth of esports. But now I'd like to continue with Adrian. So Adrian, tell us a little bit about yourself first, please.
Okay, well, I'm an Irishman, transplanted into the United States, so I spend my time, and a Bahamian. So I get to claim a number of nationalities. I'm a vice president. I'm a vice president of Irish esports, and we're not as advanced as the UK, and that comes from some of the things you talk about legacy, which I'll touch on in a second. I'm an ambassador for the Commonwealth, and I'm a founder of the Global Esport Federation, one of the 3 founders of the Global Esport Federation. Ex-banker, moved into technology entrepreneur, and I'm here to try and promote esports across the traditional sports, using traditional sports agenda to promote esports, to integrate the two. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far with our announcements at the Pan American Games and our announcements with the European Olympics and with the Commonwealth Games. So.
Excellent. So I'm going to be taking from where we left with Chester, that legacy, that know-how, that experience, that accumulation of knowledge. And you have a vast experience when it comes to organizing international esports events. So I would also like to ask you, what can Turkey and the region can learn from that vast experience?
We make mistakes just like everyone else in our journey. You have an amazing population, a young, engaged population. You have a digital access through some of our friends here and sponsors locally. The move from towards mobile gaming is shifting rapidly, I would say. I think from a legacy perspective, what we've seen is that engagement with not necessarily just the players are engaged, the community is engaged. What we need to do is engage the ecosystem that surrounds, so the parents, the school system, the education systems. These are the things that I think, as a legacy, we see that in places like the UK, but it's not prevalent in many other places. In my country, in Ireland, we don't have recognition in the same manner, which prohibits us from getting grants and certain sports association. But what the Global Esport Federation is doing, together with at this event, will be to elevate the conversation, which allows you to take and point to, okay, look what Turkey did. Look what we did in the UK at the Commonwealth. There's a reason why esports should be a recognized sport by your national body. It should be treated exactly the same, and the athletes should be treated the same and not differentiated upon.
So I think it's all about trying to be a better and better each and every day. So just like our general manager of Spor Istanbul, Mr. Renay Onur, has mentioned in his opening speech, so this is going to be the second strong step, and we're going to be even stronger as we are going to be marching towards building a wider and wider climate of success within the world of esports. Now I'd like to continue with Steffi. Steffi, please tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Yes, so hi everyone, my name is Steffi Bau. I am originally from Italy, but I live in the United States, and when I was born, I had a dream shortly after to become a professional motorcycle racer. So I did that. I was able to win 3 world titles, and one of the only women to be able to compete with the men at the top level. Why I got to esport? Pretty much about the same passion. You know, like I wanted to make a difference for women and minorities and try to get more people involved with the beautiful world of esport.
So, Steffi, how has simulation games evolved in the recent years with respect to esports? And how do you see the potential in Turkey and the region?
Well, of course, I'm into the simulation games because, you know, I was a former racer, so I love the sim racing aspect of esport. I think one of the very good things about the Sims games is the fact that they can be relatable, especially if we talk about the cars, right? Everybody's been in a car, you know, everybody understands this. So when we talk about how we can expand esport to a population that maybe is still a little bit shy or unsure, talk about sim racing, because people will understand that you can put mom and dad, grandpa and grandma in a sim and give them the experience and understand a little bit what we are talking about. So here in Turkey, the Automobile Federation is actually doing a very good job. Like they're using the sims to go to schools already and try to be able to engage the younger demographic. We have simulators here, so I invite everybody to come over and try, give it a try. But yes, I think that will be something that Turkey as a country can embrace a little bit when they talk about esport in general, you know, like, and could be a stepping stone to open up the conversation and people get to try and get involved.
I would like to proceed with yet another question to yourself, Steffi, if you do not mind, because I think it's really very critical to answer that question at this point. Actually, the answer could be very long. It could last for days, I know, but you're a special advisor to the Global Esports Federation. So I want you to think Turkey and the region as a group of people coming and knocking on your door and asking for advice. You know, what would you tell them to grow this potential?
First of all, I would definitely say just go and try it. You know, like there is nothing better than just be in the action. So if anybody, you know, is interested about esport, the Global Esports Federation is a great resource to come and ask all the questions. The players are a good resource. So yes, you know, just ask questions, because the more you ask, the more you're going to get answer back. And there is not a wrong question and not a wrong answer. We are growing, you know, esport is growing, and conversation sparks creativity. So yes, I suggest everybody to just come and knock, talk to the GEF, myself, or everybody here, and we're definitely happy to help.
How important is that dialogue? You know, how have you seen the benefits of that dialogue in your past experience?
Well, we'll be talking about community, right? So like esport really breeds this community aspect. So a dialogue is incredibly important because especially now, you know, with esport going online, everybody talks to each other. So the power of having a community, an esport community, is what sparks the dialogue. And again, you know, just ask questions and you're going to find people that are going to have answers for you.
Thank you very much, Steffi. I will come back to you in a couple of minutes. I know that you have a special announcement to make about a very special initiative, but in the second round, I will give that word to you again to give us a little bit of information on that initiative as well.
Thank you.
But now, Chester, going back to a brand, a company, which has been a great supporter and sponsor of esports here in our country, Turkey, the CEO of BtcTurk, Mr. Özgür Güneri. So, Mr. Güneri, what would you like to say? Please first tell us a little bit about yourself and how you are involved at a personal level in esports and as a company.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting to be here today. I am an investment banker originally, so it's a very stressful and boring job. So my esports career started much earlier with Sinclair and Commodore. Many of you probably don't know, but when you check Google history, you may find some info. So I'm into gaming myself. I like playing computer games, and I sometimes compare our job to esports as well. The regular financial business, financial services industry is like regular football, but the industry we're in is more like FIFA on PlayStation. So it's very fast, very vibrant, lots of things changing. You have to be really agile. And as a company strategy, we have BTC, which comes from Bitcoin in our name, and Turk. So we believe we have to support various communities in the in Turkey, basically, and esports plays a very important role in that. And therefore, I'm very happy today with my company and our brand name and support this event and esports community in Turkey in general.
Well, actually, these are really very critical decisions that a company makes. So what was the main reason for you, and how did you come up with this decision of supporting esports in our country?
Actually, we call BtcTurk as a financial services company in essence, but we are a new generation financial services company. So we believe we have to stand by the new generation in whatever they do. Sports and esports is very pivotal in that. So we started our sponsorships with Turkish national football teams back in 3 years ago, and then we expanded it to e-national teams, and this was the first time we started interacting with the esports community. And we believe rather than supporting a famous player or a famous team or a successful team, we believe supporting communities bring more value to the industry. Therefore, especially in the esports arena, we started sponsoring tournaments, and recently we introduced BTC League, which is also trying to create an environment where Turkish esports enthusiasts would improve their skills and their ability so that they can compete globally. Therefore, supporting the community is the core of our strategy here, just like in Turkish national football or Turkish national volleyball teams. So we basically follow the same strategy. Support the community, allow the new generation to take a step forward and compete globally. This is what we're trying to do as a company in our business as well.
I will ask you in a minute about this emotional aspect of supporting younger generations within the framework esports. But before asking this to you, I would just like to ask Chester and Adrian, how important is it to get the support of companies, the sponsors? Chester?
Yeah, I mean, it's essential with finance. So what you've been seeing over the last kind of 20, 15 years has been obviously grassroots play, and then obviously the publishers, or certain publishers, have really kind of invested in their own tournaments. But obviously there's, like, in our opinion, there's around 40 different esports, and they all need supporting. So I think, again, by having these events and brands seeing how they can activate, and what's interesting for us on a personal level is we're opening a physical venue as a national body. So we're opening a national performance center next year, and it's been a lot easier for brands to understand bricks and mortar. They understand, oh, there's a building, I can put my branding on it, I can do it. So there is still a lot to be done, but obviously finance is incredibly important, and we're very lucky and thankful for the sponsors, and our global partner is Tencent, and Adrian does a brilliant job with his team around talking about sponsorship. But yeah, it is essential, like any big events, to have support.
Adrian, your thoughts on the significance of sponsors?
It's critical in I would say transitioning away from the single event, single publisher kind of focus, which is still, I would say, considered somewhat elite-ish, and I would call it game-focused. If you bring it back to what we're trying to do, sort of title event, which is about representing your national team, national pride, that association with the right sponsors, I think allows us to move the esports community further along, rather than simply focused on sort of a single prize pool, single event type thing. So that engagement legitimizes esports, I would say, across the platform. So it's incredibly important, so thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Özgür Bey. So, Mr. Güneri, so coming back to that emotional aspect, how do you feel as the Chief Executive Officer of BtcTurk? Of course, there's an emotional aspect of this support for the athletes of esports, and how does it feel to invest in your country?
This is, I mean, what we focus originally, and especially we consider ourselves as a very agile and new generation financial services company. We are a young company, although the fact that Bitcoin has been around for 14 years and we've been around for 10 years. So it would, if we were a bank, we would be 350 years old, to be honest. So in a 14 years industry, we've been around for the last 10 years. So we are kind of very mature in our industry, but we also understand the challenges the new generation faces in every area. Because you have to explain yourself, you have to explain what you do, and if there are not many supporters around, it's very hard to take the step moving forward. Therefore, we believe supporting not just young people, but people who are young at heart and try to establish new things and achieve new goals. We are very happy to be part of that journey. That's why instead of just sponsoring a specific success-oriented story, we would like to create an equal opportunity for all players or who wants to expand themselves and take the step forward. We would like to be there for them. If you can be a gymnast, you can be a football player, or you can be part of esports community, then we are here for you. This is, that's why I'm very happy to be here and explain this myself to the audience. Thanks for the opportunity once again.
Excellent. I think this
Thank you.
a big round of applause. This deserves a big round of applause. As you said, we are here for you, but it's not only limited to that. We will be there for you. I'm going to be asking you about your future plans as well, as I'm sure BtcTurk is planning to continue investing in esports in our country. But before doing so, now I'd like to turn to my old dear friend, Egemen Özcan. He actually loves to be the man behind the scenes, but he is such an experienced guy when it comes to organizing such great events. Heymo, the experience design company, he is the CEO of Heymo. So, Egemen, what would you like to say? Isn't it really exciting to organize such a great event here in Istanbul?
Yeah, I mean, our journey is actually all about experience. So we design experiences for brands and sometimes for associations like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm the founder of the company, but the impact of the company is obviously much more bigger than those days on myself. So I mean, also it is strange to be at the stage, honestly. For example, from the beginning, I am thinking about, I am a little more on the edge. If you take a look at the line, so Mr. Özgür is a little back than me. So I mean, I'm really thinking about this, why this is so like that. So in the interval, actually, I'm going to make it like a full circle. So yeah, basically, this is what I am thinking right now.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, please.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a guy for 20 years experiencing not only sports and gaming. I mean, it's all around anything. It started like the early days of our career was around events. Now it can be actually after the pandemics, especially it can be anything related with the experiences, our journey and our business. We are quite well experienced in esports and gaming. So, I mean, even it was like, I think 10 years that maybe I can call it like from the zero moment of esports activations in Turkey, we were there and we are organizing all those, you know, big, large-scale events. And honestly, I'm super at the same time happy to have you all here, guys. I mean, thanks to Istanbul, Spor Istanbul team, Istanbul municipality, Mayor of Istanbul, and at the same time, obviously, Global Esports Federation, because, I mean, your intention means nothing without the actual real occasion itself. So actually those people made it possible.
So I personally know that especially 2022 has been a fantastic year for your company. So many awards won. So what does this event specifically mean to you? How does it feel to be a part of this, such an important event, Istanbul GEG 2022?
I think it's all about the community. There's a magnet feeling. I mean, if the community is there, rest is actually coming by itself. You don't need to actually manage everything if the community is there. So I think Turkey is lucky for that, honestly. I mean, even I can talk about also our region is lucky at the same time, because obviously the first thing that we write at the top of the list is our young population. But I think also the culture, how we live in this country looks quite alike to gaming and esports. I mean, we like chaos. We like being active. We like being dynamic. I mean, this is the very short summary of, for example, living in Istanbul. Actually, if you write down the DNA of esports and the gaming, you will exactly have the same list of how the teenagers and Gen Z actually spending their free time or normal daily time in Istanbul. So there are many coincidences. So the community was there. So our agency and the company was lucky to host many things, including Valorant World Champions was here like 2 months ago, which we had a chance to take part in. If you go back like 2 years ago in Saudi Arabia, the Nexus Festival, one of the biggest esports happening in our region, previously happened. From day zero, the all Turkish League of Legends Grand Final events was our production. So yeah, I mean, it was good times, good years, but at the same time, communities that I think key, and Turkey is super lucky about this community thing. It's already there. This is why I think everyone is coming. And if we are specifically talking about global esport games, which is this event actually, I think it's a super privilege because this national pride thing in the esport is one of the key missing things, my personal feeling. And actually we are a country, I'm sure many of the countries are the same ways, by the way, but especially in Turkey, we are a national pride country. And actually, this is a very good moment to at least show your national pride. And if you are not in this level, at least see people showing their national pride, which is, we call it excitement. So I think this is a great opportunity, which is sort of a small missing item in esports.
So from the perspective of that concept of legacy, especially in the last 2 decades, Turkey has been organizing many international sporting events. We have been the host of so many events, and we will be doing so in the years to come as well. So in terms of that legacy and building upon what we have learned, how do you think Turkey will be able to reflect to the future organizations within the framework of the learnings from this organization? What do you think?
I think we are a super well-organized country, unlike the actual daily life itself, because I think we are really comfortable about 2 things. Last minute, because actually the nature of the events, many things are last minute, and actually it's coming from your DNA. The country, the Mediterranean countries somehow got more used to living with that chaos, which is also our city. So we will be organizing more beautiful things, and this will keep on. And I don't personally remember any, even in the conventional sports, I don't remember any event that has a bad taste, let's say, or hard feelings afterwards. So not only about esports or not only about our events, I'm talking about the majority of the things that Turkey hosted already. So I think this trend will go on. And obviously the second thing is, again, community. I mean, some of the well-developed countries, let's say, are already there, already got seen many things. So, I mean, there's a huge excitement for Istanbul for hosting this event here. So I think this excitement also fits perfectly well even for the athletes who are coming to Turkey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Özcan. So, Steffi, coming back to you, we cannot wait to hear about this special initiative. We're going to go into the details now, but before doing so, I have one further question for you. So how do you think the simulation interfaces will change in the future, or will they change at all?
Yes, well, we talked about a little bit about VR in the previous panels. So simulation is a very interactive way to get involved, right? So the word, the simulator, so you simulate a world. So I would say that a simulation game, just not only sim racing, that is my specialty, but anything in regards to simulator is going to continue to grow. More VR, then we're going to lead into the metaverse, and it's just going to be an incredible journey that everybody's going to take on, and I'm very excited because it's kind of like my vertical.
And your special announcement?
Yes, I wanted to take a time to make this announcement here today because I believe that is the perfect place, considering that Istanbul is the confluence between the East and the West. And we are having this event called Screen to Speed. It's going to be announced to the public tomorrow, so you are the first ones to hear it. And what we are doing with this is we're going to bring women from all over the world to compete virtually on a tournament, a sim racing tournament, and the top 20 will come to Las Vegas to compete in real life. But the key of this that is a little bit different is that the winner is going to have a real try in a real race car team. So we talked, earlier about, esport and sport being connected. Well, sim racing is one of the sports that does really have that. You can become a professional race car driver coming from esports. So we're going to try to demonstrate this for women because it's never been done before, and I champion that. So I'm very happy to say here to everybody, but tomorrow the world is going to know, and everybody is invited to follow it.
How do you like this, ladies and gentlemen? So, Mr. Güneri, as promised, we would like to hear about your future plans as well, but also, could you please tell us a little bit about this shared values between esports and your business as well?
Actually, our mindset in supporting esports has two folds. The first one is trying to create the opportunity and platform for players or athletes at any level who can participate. And the other aspect is much more important, in my opinion, which is engagement. Because there are lots of people out there who is interested in esports, but they sometimes play on a very personal level, maybe only a few hours a month. It doesn't matter, but they are very excited about the trend and they want to know more about esports and its development. So we are in the supporting part of engagement as well. It doesn't matter whether you trade. I mean, we are a Bitcoin company. If you would like to buy Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin with ease, we are here for you. But it's not the point. Even if you don't trade, you're not interested in Bitcoin, we still see lots of similarities, and we believe giving back to the community through creating open opportunity and engagement for people who are interested is much more valuable. And we always believe in creating value long term, rather than trying to cultivate traders out of esports. We believe developing esports and its community will create more technologically advanced community and population, which an emerging country always needs. So we believe our investment in the esports business will continue in the coming years. Just we did in 2022, and we're almost at year end, so we can talk about the next year. So we believe we will continue to invest in this approach. It's not a strategy to grow our core business, but we see it as a part of our giving back to the community, to the Turkey community, which is part of our brand name as well. So we are excited to share more with the community in the coming months, hopefully.
Thank you very much, Mr. Güneri, and thank you to BtcTurk for all the great contribution making to our sports. So, Egemen, one final round. I'm going to be asking you all the same question, but taken from that Mr. Güneri just left, it's all about being an ecosystem. So, how do you see the future of esports in Turkey and the region, and taking it from the perspective of an ecosystem?
I think this is going to be already one of the leader country. I mean, I'm just talking about, again, the community. I mean, the size of the community, the activeness of the community. So the gaming and esports will be one of the actual major areas. It's already there, but this is not like a coincidence year happening for just once. So actually Turkey is in that shape for a long while. And it will, I believe, keep on going like that way. So there are, I mean, if you take a look at the major games, the total numbers of the players exceeding 5 million unique people. I mean, and all of them are youngsters. So it is hard to find this community who is especially very focused on the teenage ages. So I think Turkey will keep on hosting many international games, gaming and esports organization, events, gatherings, I don't know, launches. Some of the games are announcing new characters, specifically designed as a Turkish person. So, I mean, this attitude will keep on going like that as long as the community is there, as long as the community is that active. And this is the, I think, the golden times of still esports and gaming and Turkey. What is good here, it is not only happening for 1 year, just actually also the pandemics actually sort of helped this community to be inside of this, shape. But at the same time, the good news here is actually it has been like that maybe last 5 years. So I believe that it is going to keep on very active, very energetic, very young people still having this esports, gaming, and games culture in Turkey. Also, I want to add one last thing, which is the technology. Turkey is a country at some spaces, actually, they are not in the maybe top 10 tier in some of the industries, some of the, things. But if we are talking about gaming studios, if we are talking about new technologies, new technology developments, and people using the new technologies, so open to newness, I think this is a very beautiful country. So the community is there. So the gaming will not be only as a sort of thing which we consume. I think at the same time, this community and this country will be actually at a point also designing and developing the product itself at the same time.
Thank you, Egemen. Steffi?
I say that with the spirit of the work connected of the GEF, I think Turkey region and Istanbul can be the perfect place to be able to create those events. Because we can really have, the East and the West meeting here, and it's been historical, a place here for that, right? So I really think that this is going to be a very incredible event. It's going to be the first of many for Istanbul.
Thank you, Steffi. Özgür Bey, Mr. Güneri?
Actually, Istanbul has been panelists said, Istanbul has been connecting East, West, and different worlds for the last many centuries. So I believe Turkish population are excited about technology, trying new things, will support esports business here. In terms of technology, I see there are technology producers, there are technology consumers. So if you're just a consumer, you're gonna be poor in the future, to be honest. If you're a technology producer, you're gonna be in a much different position. But there is also a place in between where you can use the new technology developed and offer new services, ideas, or opportunities for people who would like to consume them. And I believe Turkey is a very strategic location, not just geographically, but also with its young and vibrant population in a very different and attractive location. Therefore, we were able to grow our business for over 5 million users in the last 10 years, and it's the same for lots of games or even hardware. So I'm very excited about the future of esports in Turkey and its impact globally. Because especially in today's days, just like Bitcoin is removing borders, esports and technology is removing borders for everybody. So focusing just on Turkey is great, but if you think global, then there are much higher opportunities for everybody, and we look forward to support that.
I agree. I totally agree. So it's time to hear from the Global Esports Federation now, starting with Adrian. So what would you like to say? I'm sure you got plans as well. Tell us about those.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, and thank you to everyone. It was a great panel. Technology and, so we talk about esports in the community. Well, I'm not sure if it's actually going to work. Do we have a video that we can show in this last? I sent a little video off to our back stage there to maybe play about which is actually visualize what you've actually asked. When I saw the question, it was sort of last minute, so I'm not sure if they're going to get that on in time, but I'll go on anyway.
Well, even if it will going to be on, the screens are here in the front of the stage. They're going to be on. Arkadaşlar video ulaştı mı size?
Okay, so
maybe they're going to be playing during your speech as
okay, well. So what we do as a community within the GEF is to convene technology partners, interested parties in this space. People talk about Web3. They talk about the metaverse. In Turkey, we are going to do something very unique here at the Games, together with a local Turkish platform. There's a technology out of the US called Pivotal, which brings the games into the metaverse, where people can log in. They will receive NFTs as part of the tickets. They will receive the esports. We've started a gaming card, so trading cards in the virtual world with the athletes' pictures, the competitors, countries that they represent, their interests. And all of this, people can go online through the Turkish platform. They can then engage, see in the metaverse, and bring the metaverse and commerce to reality, if you will. These are the things that, as a community, we try to bring together. It's not about showcasing a particular company. It's saying this technology exists in the gaming space. You know, how do I explain this to your parents or my parents? It's like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it together. And so so we're trying to do that. And so I welcome everybody to go onto the GF platform, get your tickets, NFT tickets, get your playing cards, your trading cards, and let's create this community together.
Thank you very much, Adrian. And last but not least, Chester, as the Vice President of the Global Esports Federation, how do you see the future of esports in Turkey and the region? And I'm sure that you got some ambitious plans for the region as well.
So I think the key thing is about inclusivity, and traditionally, obviously, it's been quite a male activity. And I think by having these events and creating female role models and female heroes, we want to improve that diverse mix. And I know, there's a difference between the mix of gender that play video games and the mix that play esports. And I think we in the UK have an initiative called Women in Esports. And the sole aim for that initiative is actually to make sure that women in esports doesn't happen in the future, that we all combine together. But we run a national schools tournament in the UK, and what was happening is everyone was applying boys and girls, but the boys were just more experienced, so the girls were put off. So then we created separate tournaments to encourage more participation. So for me, starting the narrative and the dialogue of having these type of events, having women tournaments and male tournaments is brilliant because we want to encourage more inclusivity in that. So part of the legacy for me about these games is hopefully to encourage more women to participate in this and have more tournaments. Obviously, there is a bit of a gap and it's going to take some time, but that to me is ultimately everyone to be playing together. And what I love about it is this activity, esports, is that you could have a team that's men and women and disabled people all playing together. There's no other sport in the world you can do that. So for me, we're totally supportive of what's going to happen in this country, and I think you're going to see a broader, more acceptance of just how inclusive this is as an activity.
So, very well said. It's all about coming together and working together as a team, creating that synergy and creating that legacy at the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand for our panelists as we are now closing panel number 2 of GEFCON here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Egemen Özcan, Steffi Bao, Chester King, Adrian Lismore, and Özgür Güneri. So I was the moderator of this panel number 2 of GEFCON 2022. My name is Mustafa Özben, and I will be the co-host of the finals during the next 2 days. We hope to see you tomorrow. But during the meantime, please stay tuned here. We're just going to have a 2-minute quick break, and then we're going to proceed with panel number 3 of the day. Thank you very much.